This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map tournament Dustbowl in the north as the blue marked of Kane. This is Jackster. And in the south as the red marked of Kane. This is Dimitri. So you know when it's going to be... Wait, what? Why did he power down his barracks? I guess he's keeping his barracks around for something. You know when it's marked of Kane versus marked of Kane. There are so many shenanigans potentially at play. By the way, this is 1.02 plus, so this is not 1.03. So it won't be maximum shenanigans, which maximum shenanigans was marked of Kane in 1.03. With Sneaky Master Leaf and his sneaky cybernetic leg engineer rushes. But it'll just be regular EMP shenanigans to deal with. And of course, in a nod mirror, you know, sometimes things can get very spammy, but he's still keeping around this barracks. But the marked of Kane nature of this means that we might see some alternative tactics, or we're just going to see a crazy amount of EMPs as people build buildings and sell them off literally just to get the EMPs. But who knows? It's marked of Kane versus marked of Kane, and it's probably going to be a good time. Not super familiar with Jackster, but Dimitri I have indeed seen many times before. Ooh, Jackster whips one of the EMPs, but one of the EMPs locks down that harvester. I think he maybe just thought he saw a harvester. He does get that one perfectly there with that extra EMP, and these buggies trying to clean up these awakened squads, and the EMPs are really the thing that these awakened squads are here to do. Actually, this is 3 bikes coming out from Dimitri, so if this had been 3 or 4 bikes a little bit earlier on in the game, then that is a potential hit squad to head across the map and potentially do some damage. But at this late in the game, 3 bikes, unless you really mess up your harvester control, you should be absolutely fine versus 3 bikes. Harvester takes a couple of hits right out of the get-go, but the Scorpion and the Buggy are there for the defense. And the MCV is, I guess, going to take a smidge of damage, but again, 3 bikes this late into the opening, relatively straightforward to deal with. MCV move over to the expansion, the natural expansion for both players. Why does he still have that barracks there? I still don't know. I mean, he's just keeping it powered down. He wants the barracks, but he wants it powered down just so he has the option. I assume he's gonna unpower it and or power it back up and try something sneaky with it. Second War Factory before anything at the expansion. Actually, for both players, they're both going double War Factory at their main base, and this is before any refineries at their natural expansion. So this is delaying, despite the MCV moves. This is delaying their natural expansion by a bit. The first hit squad of 5 Scorpion tanks rolling up to the main base of Dimitri, and it will be met by his own Scorpion tank. Surprisingly, a lack of awakened squads on the front line to potentially EMP, because, of course, Scorpion tanks at that kind of range, you can just reverse move and get out of there. But if you get EMP'd, hey-oh, now Dimitri gets some guaranteed kills, which is always nice to have. Refinery finally down, as we may say, refinally down at the natural expansion. Gets powered down for just a moment there to keep the harvester safe from the bikes while the Scorpion tanks transfer over. And I mean, it's a mirror matchup, and things are looking quite mirrored indeed. And actually, those 3 bikes causing enough of a delay of this refinery that despite the fact that Dimitri's refinery was a little bit later, they're actually on almost the exact same timing as far as the actual harvesting goes. Now, with no laser capacitor on these Scorpion tanks, there is not necessarily an incentive to tech up. Sometimes in nod matches, it is about getting out that big group of Scorpion tanks so that you can secure your tech up to Tier 3. And then, of course, if you need it, you can scale those Scorpion tanks up with laser capacitors. But some players, they just like that Scorpion tank lifestyle. They like that those big, messy fights. So, potentially with Marked of Kane, it's just going to be EMPs and Scorps all day. Dimitri getting the better end of this engagement over here on the right side of the map. Also has a small group of bikes on the left side of the map, potentially looking to poke in or stop an attack over there on the left side of the map. Sort of an early warning system. As Jackster preps for, well, he has gone tier 2. He is getting Dozer Blade, so he will at least have that kind of an advantage and that kind of an upgrade as he is moving his MCV over to a potential third base location. And for now, it looks like he is going to be expanding directly south, and Dimitri expanding directly north. So the mirroring continues between these two, the tier 2 and the Dozer Blade upgrade on the way for both. Couple of bikes and a buggy going to be potentially poking in for Jackster, but he did just get half of his units cleaned up by the bikes of Dimitri. And Dimitri, a couple of real bikes, but also a whole bunch of holograms going to be absorbing some damage. 3 bikes do make it through the forest of Scorpion tanks, and I don't know that that was necessarily worth it, but at the same time, Dimitri may be opening up an opportunity for himself to pull over here to the right side of the map. It looks like Jackster is aware of that, and he's giving chase. Whiffs an EMP there, but it's hard to hit bikes with an EMP, so he can certainly be forgiven for that. Jackster's entire army has already been pulled over to the right side of the map to meet Dimitri here, and Jackster's upgrade is finished. The Dozer Blades giving a big advantage to Jackster on top of just the reinforcement advantage that you get from fighting at home. Dimitri going to be pulling back, but that was a pretty quick pullback from Dimitri. I thought for sure that I saw maybe the Dozer Blades wasn't actually on the way. The operations center was just there. Bike's going to be taking a couple of shots at those Awakened squads as this is turning into a bit of a mess. There's a sell-off of a power plant and a Shredder turret. Some EMPs locking down big groups of Scorpions. Nope, just 2. But 2 guaranteed kills is better than none. And Panic Fanatics even being brought out as Dimitri slams furiously upon his keyboard and produces Fanatics. Most of the time, people don't intentionally produce Fanatics when they're ahead in the game and they're feeling good about their tech choices. They mostly just do it when they're feeling behind and like they're about to die. So many bikes exploding as Dimitri's forces get annihilated there. The EMP from Jackster locking down that attempted attack, and this is what we're talking about. Shredder turrets being sold off one after the other, although that was a whiff of an EMP, so... actually, he might get guaranteed kills anyways. It looks like these Scorpion tanks, the pathing is maybe the thing that killed them in this situation. It looks like they were grouped with the other Scorpion tanks, but they kind of went further north than they should have, which is one of those things that happens. Sometimes units make quite large arcs when they're turning around, or they literally drive in the wrong direction for a short time before they eventually turn around and get going into the correct direction. Air tower up and running, but no tier 3, no Tib Catalyst missile, no Reckoners, nothing like that. And by that, I of course mean Redeemers. No Redeemer engineering facilities, no big late game options. It just continues to be these technically fully upgraded Scorpion tanks with just the Dozer Blades. That's the only thing they got going for them. Fanatics taking a little bit of Tiberium damage. That's what that battle marker is up there in the north. Third base set up for both players, a preemptive Shredder turret, although this could potentially even be for a supercharged particle beam Shredder turret as he drops a 4th War Factory. This is actual bona fide 4 War Factory Scorp tank spam coming out here for Jackster. So if you like big messy army clashes, that is what this is. Dimitri getting caught by the buildings and Jackster picking up a couple of free kills here. Now, a couple of free Scorpion tanks is not necessarily the end of the world when you're talking about these kind of numbers. And nice, Dimitri going to sneak in here with a couple of bikes, going to be able to clean up 2-3 Harvesters, guaranteed kills. And that looks like Jackster's economy. Oh, he catches an MCV, though, which makes up for a little bit of the cash that Dimitri just ended up spending. But unfortunately for Jackster, as the game goes on, if his economy continues to be weaker than Dimitri's, he may just lose out in the war of attrition between these two guys. The main base of Dimitri has been somewhat decimated, but not completely destroyed, As actually this Harvester, depending on whose mines these are, I think those are Jackster's mines. But that Harvester, very low on health, could end up being cleaned up a little bit later. It looks like a building taking a couple of shots at those Scorpion tanks as they drive by. That's what that battle marker is up there in the north. Dimitri and Jackster, both of them with these big old Scorpion tank armies. And I feel like Jackster has the advantage in numbers, but we'll have to see if that actually works out. And I guess those aren't Dimitri's mines. He is doing a little bit of time, a little bit of damage over time, and that Harvester is so low on health that we have actually seen a unit die because of the magnetic mines. Very rarely do you see something get killed off because of the magnetic mines. That damage over time, it adds up, I guess. And I mean, he actually is doing like quite a bit of damage to these Harvesters with those magnetic mines. So this might be the most cost-effective magnetic mine drop I have ever seen. All right, Dimitri has made it up to Tier 3. I don't know where his tech lab is. There it is. He is actually going Redeemer. So he went Obelisks. He went Redeemer. He's going all the way, even getting a secret shrine. I assume is he going like cybernetic legs or something? I'm not sure exactly what his secret shrine plans are. Oh, he's going cybernetic leg engineers, it looks like. EMP is locking down some Scorpion tanks, and the Redeemer just barely going to finish in time. The EMP is helping to buy a little bit of time, but mostly just the forces of Dimitri, and it's going to be double engineer, or it was supposed to be double engineer into that Redeemer, but it is not meant to be. And the second engineer died in that assault. Jackster pulling down to the south, going to be cutting off the infrastructure of Dimitri. And eliminating these bases is certainly nice, sending them into low power mode, be getting some free shots off on obelisks, and also cleaning up the refinery. Goodbye, obelisk. Goodbye, Awakened members, as those tanks just absolutely shred those Awakened members. Bike's going to be coming in to help finish off the job, and it looks like Jackster may have accidentally EMP'd one of his own Harvesters. Oh, if Dimitri could only turn around and get just one more shot off on that Harvester, but it may literally not be possible with how low those bikes are. Although I say that, and they actually both escape away up to the north to do some more potentially unanswered damage to this Harvester up here. And Dimitri has just had his natural and his main base economy completely destroyed, so long-term as the game goes on, he won't have any additional income coming from those locations, but he's looking to return the favor as Dimitri cleans up the main base of Jackster, eliminating both of the war factories and the refinery. They actually get sold off there. Jackster going for a little bit of an EMP on one of those Scorpion tanks, and Jackster completely reforms his front line back here at his third base location, and this Redeemer with a Rage Gen could do insane damage to either army if Jackster gets his own Redeemer up and running, which at this point, I think he actually just sold off or lost his Tier 2, yeah, so he's a long ways away from getting up that Redeemer if he really wants to try and make that happen. But a stealthed Redeemer with double engineer and Rage Gen popping off, this could be the one thing that decides this entire game instead of a big sloppy Scorpion tank fight. Well, actually, it will be a big sloppy Scorpion tank fight, but it'll be Jackster's units killing themselves. And that will potentially be the end of Jackster's army. Jackster actually going to be heading... No, the Rage Gen is a little bit far away. So only a handful of Scorpion tanks fire off and kill each other. That was a bit of a preemptive strike there by this Redeemer. He was really worried about missing the opportunity there, that he kind of missed the opportunity. And, well, I guess sometimes that is what happens. Jackster's army getting caught so much on the buildings, not engaging with the forces of Dimitri, and Dimitri with a numbers advantage, at least in terms of actual cannons firing. And the Redeemer now going to be potentially just going on a stomping warpath, crushing Scorpion tank after Scorpion tank as he's trying to even out the numbers. I think at the beginning of this fight, technically Jackster had more Scorpions than Dimitri, but he kind of messed up that engagement and no EMPs to even things up. So at the end of the day, Dimitri pushes Jackster back, and I think now Jackster has like maybe even less Scorpions, maybe just the same number of Scorpions as Dimitri. Although Jackster getting some free damage on the side and rear armor of Dimitri's tanks, taking that additional damage, and no supercharged particle beams. This is regular Venoms. Dimitri has just realized that there's no anti-air from Jackster, that Jackster is completely lacking in that sense. There's the Rage Gen firing off, and these Scorpion tanks starting to actually tear each other to shreds, although it looks like most of them already had an order or were given a stop command or something. 4 Scorpion tanks, 5 Scorpion tanks getting EMP'd as Jackster may have the numbers in combination with the EMP, but the Redeemer is not going to be easily stopped, and no more EMPs. He just fired off the one. No additional EMPs to save Jackster from the firepower of Dimitri. The GG gets called, and Dimitri takes this Marked of Kane mirror. And just a sloppy Scorpion tank fight from beginning to end. But at the end of the day, it was the tech that broke Jackster. Having that Redeemer to absorb so much damage with the stealth to go in for the crushes or to just blast away at those Scorpion tanks was a great choice by Dimitri, and that will do it for this game. I hope you enjoyed some Marked of Kane versus Marked of Kane action. Honestly, less EMPs than I was expecting. I kind of feel let down by the sheer number of EMPs. There weren't crazy numbers of EMPs like I was hoping. Anyways, that will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.